Oh, I didn't go live? I didn't go live. Oh my God, I've been talking all this time. Oh my gosh. Bruh. Oh my God. Dude, I was talking because I saw that the stream connected. And I'm talking, and I guess I was just talking to Twitch and Facebook. And I realized I never hit go live on YouTube. Okay. Amazing. Guess we'll start over. Sorry about that. So, reset. Thank you everybody for coming. Appreciate it. If you guys get the like button, thanks for stopping by. And we're going to be talking about Anna Walshe. The people on the other platforms probably like, what the hell? People on Facebook and Twitch like, oh my God. This is Anna Walshe, and this is an old post. This is the woman that went missing on New Year's Day and still missing. You know, a knife, a bloody knife was found in the basement. Blood was found in the basement. Now they found other stuff at these different disposal sites, a hatchet and a hacksaw, blood. And one of these disposal sites is right by where Brian, the husband, right by where his mother lives. And he had supposedly told investigators that he got lost on the way to his mother's house. This is the same guy that purchased $450 of cleaning supplies. This woman went missing on New Year's Day, but wasn't reported missing until January 4th. There were some points of contention because supposedly she was reported missing simultaneously by the husband and by the employer. But then there's other sites that are saying that like it was actually the employer that reported her first. He did call the job, I guess, looking for her. I don't know. He was arrested for misleading police. And this is a post where some people had talked about this, and they were wondering if this is, you know, was this him hurting her, or is it what she really said in the comment section where somebody asked her what happened? And it says here, mild concussion, bruised hip, and a cut, hashtag vulnerability. And somebody in the comment section asked her about this. And somebody said, what happened? This was a while back, apparently. Freshly buffed marble floors at work. So, you know, maybe she fell at work. Maybe they can confirm that. There's surveillance video of this guy too. There's a bunch of weird stuff going on and a bunch of videos I can show you. I'm going to start with maybe this basic yeah. Well, let me just take you through the videos because I feel like this timeline is good, but it takes you through everything too fast. I actually really like this video that they released, and they even in this video they talk about the super sleuths of this case.
Or a hacksaw. We begin with new developments in the search for a missing Cohasset mother. Sources tell NBC 10 investigators that among the items found during the search of the trash facility in Peabody were a hacksaw and bloody materials, including towels. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Glenn Jones.
And I'm Priscilla Casper. It's been a week since police started searching for Walshe. This as her husband remains behind bars for misleading.
Yeah, they do have 3 kids, Shelley says, 3 little sons, 2, 4, and 6, and they were taken by CPS. There's a part of a clip I'm going to play for you guys, too. And the thing with that is this guy must have did what he did. If he did, I think everything's pointing to that he did. He must have did this while these kids were in the house, you know? And that's what I've been saying for a while, that it seems like maybe he disposed of her in the trash or something.
Investigators. So Here is what we know and where this investigation stands at this moment. To date, the Norfolk DA says items that were collected are now being tested to see if there are any value to that evidence. Investigators finished searching and processing the family's Cohasset home. Police also searched a second waste facility, and the Department of Children and Families confirmed it has taken custody of the couple's 3 children.
We have team coverage at 6. NBC 10 investigator Ryan Kath has been digging into Brian Walshe's past. Bianca Beltran has a look at the impact of so-called internet sleuths. But we begin with Abby Nisgoda, who's live at the family home. Abby, you spoke to people who know the couple well. What are they telling you?
Well, they say they can't imagine Brian Walshe would ever harm his wife. They also can't believe Anna is missing. But they tell me in the last 6 months, they did notice some strange signs.
From Cohasset to Swampscott, Peabody to West Wareham, the disappearance of Anna Walshe and the arrest of her husband leaves many with questions.
And this guy was literally smiling as he walked out of that hearing.
Even those close to the couple.
I've known these people, like I said, for 8 years. It just does not make sense at all.
We sit down for an exclusive interview with Mike and Mandy Silva. For the last 4 years, they've rented this apartment from the Walshes and have developed a friendship.
Like she would.
And we're going to get into that a little bit later. There's a Reddit post. There's multiple properties, I think, that they rented out, rented out, I think.
Bring over alcohol, like bottles of wine for the
exclusive interview with Mike and Mandy Silva. For the last 4 years, they've rented this apartment from the Walshes and have developed a friendship.
Like she would bring over alcohol, like bottles of wine for the holidays, or bring us chocolates, and we would do the same.
But they say for the last 6 months, something felt off. They say Anna was rushing to get rid of assets, including a car and the apartment they live in, which was just sold.
They closed the 28th or the 29th, right before she went missing. And it was a cash sale.
Mike says what's even more chilling is the last text message he received from Brian.
I said, Happy New Year on the 1st. Happy New Year. Sorry for the delay. I misplaced my phone and my son just found it. And then nothing happened.
Ooh. So wait. When was that? Ooh. Let me timestamp this stream because I didn't listen to this part while I was watching the video. That's really interesting. And so, because this would have been, so New Year's Day, supposedly she had taken this flight early morning hour, right? And if you guys have been following from the last stream, the police, the investigators, they couldn't find an actual flight that was scheduled on the 1st. There was a flight for, I forget which day. I don't know if it was like the 4th or I think it was for the 4th or the 3rd, something like that. So there was no flight scheduled. Supposedly this car share ride that she was supposed to have taken, there was no car share ride that they could find. And she had been missing in the early morning hours. And so here,
Son just found.
January 2nd, she was already gone. She's already gone. Nobody knows where she's at. I'm thinking this is the husband replying. Because we're going to get into it in a little bit too. Her mother, Fox did an interview with Anna's mother. And Anna's mother said that she hadn't heard from her after 12 a.m. I think Anna was trying to call her. She didn't answer. Anna tried to call a couple of people and she didn't answer. And Pity Rocks, who said, I'm stopping the video, you can leave the live stream. I have to give commentary. If not, you can just go type in Anna Walshe and just sit there and watch the news clip. I have to give commentary and context. It's called fair use. All right. And I also want to explain this part why I think it's significant, because I think that it could have been this guy possibly texting back.
From Brian.
I said, Happy New Year on the 1st. Happy New Year. Sorry for the delay. I misplaced my phone and my son just found it. And then nothing after that.
No mention of Anna, even though at that point her husband says she was already missing. He's now charged with misleading police.
It almost brings tears to my eyes because it's just not normal.
Right now, police are processing potential evidence found at 2 trash facilities. And the NBC 10 Boston investigators have learned at the one in Peabody, they found a hacksaw, bloody materials, and cleaning supplies consistent with what prosecutors say Brian Walshe bought at a Home Depot. That's all in addition to the blood blood and bloody knife found in the basement of the couple's home, but still no sign of Anna.
Where's Anna?
Damn, bro.
Brian, if you know anything, why aren't you talking? Nothing's adding up.
Dude. Guy literally smiling. You know he has to have knowledge or know something about this shit. Somebody that was actually concerned and worried about his wife is not going to walk out of that courtroom just... You know what I'm saying?
That they say what's also strange is that Anna kept promising them some sort of big surprise in the new year. Guys, they have no idea what that surprise could have been, but now they tell me they just can't stop thinking about it. We're live in Cohasset tonight. I'm Abby Nisgo to NBC 10 Boston.
Thank you, Abby. Well, the NBC 10 investigators continue to dig for new information about the background of Brian Walshe. Now, court records and conversations with family friends point to a history of money problems and estrangement. Ryan Cat joining us in the newsroom with what he's learned tonight. Ryan.
Priscilla, Brian Walshe was an only child, but affidavits and a court filing claim he had a fractured relationship with his father.
And this is so interesting. So in the first stream we talked about this, we were reading an article about it. The estranged relationship with his father, and like the father took him off of his will. They had all these financial things that are just really weird that are going on. This guy's the husband's a scammer, charged and convicted scammer. The guy was on house arrest when his wife went missing, and she just, I don't know, she sold a lot of properties too, but like, I don't know, it seemed like they had some real weird stuff kind of going on behind the scenes.
After allegedly disappearing with a large sum of his money. And following his father's death in 2018, there was a bitter legal battle over who is entitled to inherit his estate. Dr. Thomas Walshe owned this oceanside home in Hull when he passed away in 2018 while traveling in India. In sworn affidavits, friends and family say it was well known that he was estranged from his only child, Brian Walshe, and had taken him out of the will. That fractured relationship stemmed from a real estate deal involving this property in Lenox. According to those court documents and a family friend I spoke with on the phone, Brian allegedly took off with hundreds of thousands of dollars of his father's money.
And the day he got that check at the closing was the last time his father ever spoke to him. He just disappeared off the face of the earth. And his father was in shock.
But that didn't
That dude took money from his own father.
stop Brian from trying to file legal action to take control of his father's estate after his death, when friends learned the property in Hull had mysteriously gone up for sale.
Brian had emptied the house completely of all the goods, expensive Persian carpets, Miros, Kandinskis, and other expensive artifacts, and staged it for sale.
During the ensuing probate battle, a nephew said he'd been named as executor of the estate, and friends signed affidavits they'd seen the will itself, which had left nothing for his son. As the high-profile search for Anna Walshe continues, the family friend described Brian as a con artist, but told me he never saw any hint of losing his temper or violent behavior.
I'm hoping that by some miracle there's going to be some crazy scheme he had cooked up for monetary gain that all of this adds up to, and it's not, what the indicators are. It's shocking.
And records show the nephew prevailed in the probate case and ultimately sold the whole property in 2020. Live in the newsroom, Ryan Kath, NBC 10 investigator.
Okay, Ryan, stay on it. Thank you. Let's remind you how we got to this point. Anna Walshe was reported missing, last seen on January 1st. The next day, her husband, Brian, bought $450 in cleaning supplies at Home Depot. Last Wednesday, she was first reported missing. On Sunday, police arrested her husband for misleading investigators in this case. Also, since Anna's disappearance, Brian's internet search history heightened police suspicions, according to a source.
Yeah.
In fact, internet super sleuths from...
Yo, when I heard this and they're like internet super sleuths, I just busted out laughing. I was like, oh, Lord.
all over the place are generating theories about this case, but not every online lead helps the investigation. NBC 10's Bianca Beltran is on that part of the story from Cohasset tonight. Bianca.
Now, law enforcement generally welcomes information from witnesses and community members that can help them solve a case. But officials we spoke to today said that the act of seeking out information and publishing it online for everyone to see could have some unintended consequences.
This is Anna Walshe.
Breaking news, a woman has mysteriously
vanished. Anna Walshe, she is 39 years old.
Anna Walshe has been missing since the early hours of Sunday, January 1st.
Countless videos and social media posts detail the disappearance of Anna Walshe, some sharing information from police, others doing their own digging, a trend that has grown with the explosion of true crime. The Twitter account Cohasset TMZ told NBC 10 Boston they typically post about small-town news, describing this case hitting like a giant meteor. We share what we think is possible and needs further digging. Everyone is fascinated, horrified with what's happened, and just wants to find out. And when there's nothing coming out, people dig to find more. Asking to remain anonymous, they admitted they're new at this and figuring it out as they go.
The police need the public, but they don't need the public to become their own investigators.
Ken Gray is a retired FBI agent and senior lecturer at the University of New Haven.
The public is not aware of all the details of ongoing investigations, and consequently, they often leap to conclusions based upon limited information.
He points to a recent case in Idaho where a professor is suing a TikToker over allegations in the killing of 4 university students.
It's worked both ways, honestly. There's been a lot of great information that's come in from the public.
Roy Vasquez, president of the Massachusetts Major City Police Chief Association. He says speculation, however, can be harmful.
It can be very traumatic for loved ones to be hearing different things out there in the world. And obviously, each individual person should be aware of what they're saying.
Super sleuths.
Now, Ken Gray noted that there have been cases where independent investigators have been able to help bring forward new information.
And with that, because I was talking to somebody today, and he keeps telling me to check out the Don't F with Cats thing. Don't F with Cats on Netflix. And, it's based off of a true story. And I haven't watched it yet. I do want to watch it. I hear it's graphic because it has like animal stuff in there, animals getting hurt. But what he told me was that was solved, I think, by internet sleuths. I believe. I mean, I haven't watched it myself. I don't know the story, but it was like internet people that helped solve that case.
Or witnesses in cold cases, adding that in many of those unsolved cases, developments in technology also help law enforcement close those cases. Reporting in Cohasset, I'm Bianca Beltran, NBC 10 Boston.
Bianca Beltran.
So that was that, which is pretty, I thought it was a really good video. This one.
Walshe continues. Today marks 1 week since the mother of 3 was reported missing, but of course she was last seen on New Year's Day. Meanwhile, the NBC 10 Boston investigators have learned that police found a hacksaw as well.
With Alicia Palumbo, she's live in Cohasset for us this morning with the very latest. Good morning, Alicia.
Good morning, Colton. Now, if you look down this shared driveway.
Oh, yeah, because this one gives like a nice visual. And I'm going to show you on the Google Maps, too, from the home from where the 2 disposal sites are at as well.
Here you can see the home that the Walshe family is renting here in Cohasset. We did see a little activity here this morning, but it does seem like the investigation is largely focused on evidence being found elsewhere now. More bags being brought out of the Cohasset home where missing mom Anna Walshe and her family live, just a day after investigators said they wrapped up their search for evidence there. Evidence that included the discovery of blood and a bloody knife in the basement. New video obtained by NBC 10 Boston shows Brian Walshe just 1 day after his wife was last seen on security cameras at Press Juice Bar in Norwell. Meanwhile, the NBC 10 investigators have learned a hacksaw and bloody towels were found during the search of the transfer station in Peabody and the dumpsters at the Swampscott apartment complex where Brian Walsh's mother lives.
The circumstantial evidence that I see on the news, it's terrifying because I'm a optimistic person, and I still have some hope that perhaps there is a terrible misunderstanding.
Friends who know Anna Walshe from Sky International events like this 2021 Gatsby Gala say despite the grim discoveries, they're still holding out hope Anna is alive.
I'm a mother, as I said, and she has 3 kids, and my heart just goes out to her, just goes out to the family. We are ready to help the family in any way. We're still praying and hoping that Anna is well.
And DCF confirming for us that the
And there's the part 2. The
Walsh's 3
kids.
young boys are in state custody, at least for the time being.
Yeah, this guy didn't do a good job. I mean, and that's good, I guess, but like of covering his tracks. Really messy, it seems like.
We're live in Cohasset. Alicia Palumbo, NBC 10 Boston.
Alicia, thank you. So we're also learning some new details about Brian Walshe, including his really rocky relationship with his late father. And we're also hearing from a couple who has known Brian and Anna for years. NBC 10 Boston's Jeff Saperstone live for us there. What are these friends?
Susan, this couple says they've known the Walshes for 8 years and that none of this makes any sense. For the past 4 years, Mike and Mandy Silva have rented this apartment in Revere from Brian and Anna Walshe and developed a friendship with them. But they tell our Abby Nisgoda for the last 6 months something felt off. They say Anna was rushing to get rid of assets, including the apartment the couple now lives in.
They closed the 28th or the 29th, right before.
We just saw that. The other thing, let's keep it rolling. And this is the big surprise that those renters mention. Anna Walshe missing, business exec mom promised big surprise before she vanished, friends say. Woman reportedly told friends a big surprise was on the way before she vanished New Year's Day, but never got a chance to explain what it was, which to me, I'm like, damn, I couldn't. If you were my friend, you're trying to tell me a big surprise, I gotta know. But I get it. And so Anna Walshe was last seen by a family member in her Cohasset apartment between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. on January 1st, according to the chief police. NBC reports that friends Mike and Mandy noticed some alarming behavior before she disappeared, including the reference to the surprise. And that's why I'm saying that text message that was the next day at 2 p.m. That's interesting. That's interesting. And it also coincides with this whole thing here where, okay, Anna's husband, Brian Walshe, told police that she left home January 1st to travel to Washington, D.C., where she works. Brian Walshe claimed she took an Uber or Lyft from home to an airport. So this is all the stuff that I just mentioned. However, prosecutors said there is no evidence of her leaving the home that day. No evidence of the flight, no evidence of the rideshare, no evidence of her leaving home. And then the cell phone, prosecutors said Anna's cell phone pinged in the apartment area on January 1st and January 2nd. So this woman's missing. Nobody heard from her since, and somehow her phone is texting a friend later in the afternoon. And the other thing, so yeah, Brian Walshe said he went to his mother's home on January 1st, but took longer than expected because he got lost. How does this guy get lost going to his mother's house, right? According to what he said, he stopped by CVS and a Whole Foods store that day, but prosecutors say there's no evidence or receipts that he stopped by those stores. He then reportedly claimed he went out to get smoothies with his son on January 2nd and didn't leave home again. But surveillance footage shows him also going to a Home Depot store to buy $450 worth of cleaning supplies. He was subsequently arrested on charges of hindering a missing persons investigation. And they also said, and we covered this before, and a cell phone, credit card, debit cards have not been used since New Year's Day. Police first said she was reported missing on January 4th by the defendant and her Washington, D.C. based employer. In court, however, it was determined that only Anna's employer made the initial missing report. That's what I just referenced as well. So initially they were saying that like simultaneously, this guy, Brian, and the employer reported her missing. But then in court, and I guess according to prosecutors, they're saying supposedly only Anna's employer made the initial missing persons report. Police were notified by January 4th by her employers in Washington, D.C. that she had not shown up for work on January 4th. That was the first time that police were notified and that she was missing. So this is what I mentioned as well. The defendant was already wearing an ankle monitor in connection with a different case. And so that different case, and by the way, you guys let me know, do you want to do Nancy Grace tonight? We're going to listen to Nancy Grace. They're trying to cancel Nancy on Twitter right now. They're really upset. They're really upset. So that ankle monitor, though, I thought I read somewhere, and maybe, I don't know if the moms have a moment. I thought it didn't have GPS tracking or something. I thought I read, and that doesn't even make sense to me. What's the point of a GPS? I forgot what it was about that thing. It didn't have something. I don't know. I don't know how it worked. Okay. I got you, Mo. Thank you. Some people are saying no. 88% say yes. Yes, we want HATCHET. All right, so let's talk about Anna's mother. And yeah, you guys vote on the poll. We'll come back tonight or later if you guys want it. Also, make sure you check out the channel sponsor. When we get about midway through, I'll play the video. The link is in the pinned comment. It's a service I personally use to protect my information from these crazy nut jobs online. At the end of the stream, though, I'm going to transfer you guys anyway to an unlisted live where you can click the link. If you don't want to click it now, you can click it later. Let's see. Let me get the super chats. Lisa, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, in the first clip, that text from Anna, Brian gave the exact excuse to law enforcement when he asked about his phone when he took his kid to ice cream. Ooh. Really? Did I lose it? I think I closed it out. Well, I'll see if I can pull it up later. It is previously mentioned, but that's interesting. So she says, in the first clip, that text from Anna, quote unquote, Brian gave that exact excuse to law enforcement when he was asked about his phone when he took his kids to ice cream. Very interesting. I think that was him. Planning Magical Slow the chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Lisa, thank you for the super chat. Alicia on Twitch, thank you so much for the Prime subscription. Roxana, what's the deal with all the killers lately named Brian? I don't know. And there's another story, so I might talk about this at the end. Just a quick side step because there's so much crazy ish going on. 21-year-old woman found decapitated was identified by her family and friends as Agni Diaz. Her husband James was arrested and now faces murder charges. This guy decapitated a woman, and apparently there's a bunch of other stories. Diggs has sent me another link, which I'll see if I can pull it up later. You remember the Mormon family where the woman wanted to get a divorce, and so this guy kills the woman, kills all the kids, kills the mother-in-law, and then kills himself. Apparently there's like 2 other similar stories to that of people just killing and wiping out their entire family. So everybody, to me, lately seems to be going nuts. I don't know what's going on with relationships, marriages, mental health, whatever you want to call it. People are just killing each other off left and right on some crazy-ish. All right. So, and I think I'm caught up. Thank you for the membership. I see you looking, Andrews. Let's keep it rolling. So, missing Massachusetts woman Anna Walsh's mother breaks silence. Clearly, there must have been some problems. And so, to me, too, it's kind of interesting. Like, we still haven't really heard, like, friends or family specifically referring to any kind of incidents. And so, they should keep all this stuff that maybe was going on to herself. They should not tell, like, any friends. I don't know. The Massachusetts real estate executive, missing since January 1st, pleaded with her mother to travel from her home country, Serbia, to visit just 1 week before she vanished, leading the now concerned woman to believe that there were problems at home before her daughter's disappearance. She just said, "Please, Mama, come tomorrow," said Milanka, the mother of missing 39-year-old Anna. In an interview conducted on Monday and later translated to English, which means that clearly there must have been some problems. The mother, 69, spoke with Fox News outside of her Belgrade, Serbia home apartment building, where she recalled how her daughter had sent her a text message on December 25th and requested that mom travel to see her in Washington, D.C. the next day. This is a picture of the mother. Milanka looks at a photo of her daughters. So I guess she has a sibling, Anna and Alexandra, in her apartment. Okay. Picture of the siblings and mom together. She texted in the evening urging me to come the next day to Washington, she said. She recalled responding, "I can't get myself together in 1 day. I'm 69 years old. I have to get my medications and a thousand other things." So she wanted her mother to come urgently. Her mother couldn't do it. She has to prep and do all this kind of stuff. And she says, "And now I can't forgive myself for not just letting things fall where they may and just go. And whatever happens to me happens. And I almost wonder too, because I guess the mother's beating up herself. If she had gone, who knows? And that's the thing. Who knows, right? Because it's always what if. Who knows if she went? Maybe this guy would have killed her too, allegedly, you know? Or maybe he would have done nothing. Or maybe he would have did it after she left. I don't know. When asked if Anna gave mom any reason behind the urgency, mom said no. Mom suggested to her daughter that she instead visit her on January 5th or 6th, but her daughter said she did not have to. She said, "You don't have to come in January. Brian and I are making plans for February," mom said. This is the view of the apartment. So this is mom's apartment building. Wow. Damn. The entrance of an apartment building in Belgrade, Serbia, which is the residence of Milanka. The woman then missed her daughter's calls around midnight on December 31st and another shortly thereafter. You know, bless you, baby. She called again at 1 a.m. and I missed that call too. So she's trying to call her mother, maybe just to say Happy New Year's, or maybe out of, I don't know. She called her elder sister, who was also asleep. Then she tried to call her maid of honor, who didn't hear the phone. Nobody picked up. She didn't pick up because of the loud music, she said, and now I regret not getting the phone because she's disappeared. Which, that sucks. I guess nobody picked up. I mean, for me on New Year's, I'm answering. I mean, I know a lot of people, they go to sleep. Some people don't stay up for 12. For me, I'm usually up. And I'll try to, especially like if I was with my mother and family this year, but like if there's loved ones or special people that I know are going to call me, I answer the phone. Even if there's music, I'm probably have my phone in my hand, I'm looking or whatever. And so here's a video. Let me see. We got this guy. I wanted to play this for you because I feel like he's almost become a guest on the channel, kind of, or a feature on the channel. And if you don't remember this guy, this is the guy that one time had kind of like insinuated that Kaylee's father was like super homicidal or almost like involved in a crime. He said a friend told him that or something like that, so I figured this
probably most likely
is due in court this morning after his arrest yesterday. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino.
And I'm Bill Henry. Good morning to you, partner. How you doing? Brian Walshe is charged with misleading the police investigation into the disappearance of his wife, 39-year-old Anna Walshe. Police say she's been missing since New Year's Day and was last seen by a family member at her home early that morning. She was supposed to board a flight to Washington, but apparently never made that plane.
If she didn't get to the flight, that probably most likely she will be found, if she's deceased, she'll be found within a distance that it takes to drive to the airport. She will be somewhere in that distance.
So south of Boston, we have Molly Line on that story with the latest on this investigation. Molly, hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. That's right. The husband of this missing Cohasset mom.
They only had him on for a second. And if you guys could help me out with the like button, please, I'd appreciate that. We only have 740, got 3,000 people. If you could help out with that, it helps out in the algorithm. Appreciate that.
Anna Walshe is expected to be arraigned in the morning session here at Quincy District Court. He's charged with misleading a police investigation. Cohasset and Massachusetts police taking 46-year-old Brian Walshe into custody yesterday as investigators continue to scour the couple's home inside and out for clues in his wife's disappearance. Brian Walshe has been in trouble with the law before, pleading guilty in 2021 to federal charges stemming from the sale of 2 fake Andy Warhol paintings. The convicted Art Froster was awaiting sentencing. Police say 39-year-old Anna Walshe, the mother of 3 young boys, disappeared on New Year's Day. That's more than a week ago. Investigators were told a family member last saw her in the early morning hours between 4 and 5 a.m. as she planned to take a ride share to Boston's Logan Airport for a flight to Washington, D.C. That's where she owned a second home and worked during the week for an international real estate firm. Police say there's no indication that rideshare vehicle ever came, no evidence Anna Walshe arrived at the airport, and no record of her boarding a flight.
Damn.
There's been no activity on her phone or credit cards since her disappearance. Her husband did not report her missing until January 4th. Now, that's the same day her D.C. employer raised alarm bells. In recent days, investigators have scoured wooded areas and streams. They've used search dogs and a state police chopper, draining a swimming pool at the family home. The search thus far yielding negative results. Initially, as police announced that they were looking for Anna in her disappearance, they described her husband as cooperative. Clearly, things have changed at this point in time. Per prosecutors, police developed probable cause to believe that her husband, Brian Walshe, had committed the crime of misleading police investigators. Now, the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office notes additional facts may or may not be released a little later on this morning. We're awaiting that arraignment now. Bill?
Okay, Molly, thanks.
Okay, somebody said update. I don't know. Let me verify that before I even let's see. Okay, there is an update. Ooh, threatened to kill her. Oh Lord. All right, let's check it out. So that was from, let's see who said that. Track MHS. Thank you for that. Let's see. Oh wait, was I supposed to show anything else in here? We did that. Mama. Okay, yeah, we'll get this after. Let's watch the threatened to kill thing, and then we'll come back to that. All right. So, Ann Walshe investigation. DC police report reveals husband threatened to kill her. Okay, let's see.
And we start the 5 with some breaking news. We're getting new details in just now about that missing mother, Anna Walshe, the woman from Boston with D.C. ties. She apparently told police her husband threatened to kill her.
Our Sharon Roger joining us now from the newsroom with the latest out of the courtroom. Hey, Sharon.
Yeah, Jim, Marina, Anna Walshe has been missing since New Year's Day. According to reporter Bob Ward, this is from Boston 25, she told D.C. police her husband Brian threatened to kill her and her friends. According to other law enforcement sources, investigators now are waiting on forensic test results before they announce next steps and possibly additional charges. Now, Anna's friends are begging her husband, Brian Walshe, as you see here, to cooperate with police. He's already charged with misleading an investigation after police found him on surveillance video at a Home Depot buying hundreds of dollars in cleaning supplies just the day after Anna went missing. Now, in an interview with Fox News Digital, Anna's friend tells us they want to know why Brian Walshe lied to police, why he bought those cleaning supplies shortly after Anna's disappearance. Anna's friends are also shifting their focus to the couple's 3 young children who are just 2, 4, and 6 years old. Her friends say the kids are currently in state custody and may be separated in foster care.
In this investigation, unfortunately, there's so much that is happening, and there's a lot of question marks everywhere when it comes to Anna, when it comes to Brian, and we just don't know. And the only thing that's really for certain right now is those boys. So what can we do at this point in time with something that we know is certain, and to put some pressure there to make sure that they stay together?
Yeah, your heart just breaks for these 3 kids. Right now, this investigation is still...
Okay, wow. So supposedly, let's see here, let's get some of the details. A public incident report from 2014 reveals Brian Walshe threatened to kill now missing DC realtor Anna Walshe. The police report obtained by Fox affiliate Boston 25 reporter Bob Ward shows that Walshe was going by her maiden name, Anna Nip, at the time, told Metropolitan Police Department officers that Brian Walshe made a statement over the telephone that he was going to kill her and her friends. Whoa. Wow. The report states that Brian now lives in Boston, Massachusetts. Okay, public incident report. Threats, felony, victim refused to cooperate in the prosecution, which happens all the time. Offense location, 425 Massachusetts. apartment condo, public narrative. Okay, victim, Anna Nip. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, C1 reports that unlisted date and time. S1, which should be, I guess the victim, made a statement over the telephone. Oh no, the other person made a statement over the telephone that he was going to kill C1 and her friends. S1 now lives in Boston, Massachusetts. The husband is not named in the report, but ward sources indicate that the suspect is Brian Walshe. Of course, you got to protect the perpetrators, right? The report lists that the potential offense as felony threats, but Anna never cooperated, which happens all the time. I've been there, where I could have pressed charges and I didn't, just felt bad and stuff. Brian Walshe was never charged, and the case was closed. Former Boston Police Chief Dan Lewinsky tells Boston 25 that he believes this old accusation is very significant for sure. Walshe, a mother of 3 young boys, was last seen in the early morning hours of January 1st when she was supposed to take a ride share to the local airport. All the stuff we know, we've been covering. Okay, and this guy lied about his whereabouts. Investigators said Walshe told investigators he traveled to stores such as CVS and Whole Foods. We've covered all that already. The $450 purchase. According to court documents and officials, Walshe was spotted on surveillance video wearing a black surgical mask, blue surgical gloves, and making a cash purchase of items including mops, tape, and drop cloths.
It doesn't make any sense.
Meanwhile, we're hearing from a woman tonight who says she was Anna Walsh's best friend in D.C. Alyssa Kirby describes Anna as a loving mother devoted to her kids who also had a successful career. She says Anna moved to D.C. for the job, and the goal was to get her kids down here from Boston in a couple of months.
I actually was with her on Thursday night. We had our last time I was with her was that Thursday before we went out for dinner. We went out dancing till really late, and then she left that Friday morning to go back to Boston. She's just so personable. She lights up a room. She's so passionate and fun and joyful. Really just someone who like you want to get to know immediately. And she's so interested in everyone and everything. And just a really beautiful, wonderful, passionate, joyful woman.
Alyssa describes Anna as full of life and positivity.
All right. Let me put this full screen.
Heartache and frustration reaching a boiling.
Investigators also discovered blood and a bloody damaged knife. Oh, damaged knife. I didn't know that was damaged. Damaged knife in the basement of the couple's home and traced Anna's cell phone to the area of the family's Cohasset home on January 1st and 2nd. Meanwhile, Brian's cell phone pinged in other parts of Massachusetts, such as Brockton and Abington, despite his lack of permission to be in the areas under the terms of his confinement. So he wasn't supposed to be there. Okay.
And the search for a missing Massachusetts mother, Angie.
Evidence in connection to Anna Walsh's disappearance. Fox's Caroline Elliott joining us live now from Peabody, Massachusetts, with some new details from the DA.
Yeah, Angie, Rob, we're told there's still a ton of evidence being processed in this case right now, including items found at this trash facility and the blood and knife found in the family's basement. But whatever crews found at this trash facility last night, we're told that the district attorney's office still won't tell us what they found. We do know Anna's husband, Brian Walshe, is accused of lying to police about where he was and what he did after Anna went missing. And investigators say they spotted him on camera at Home Depot buying hundreds of dollars in cleaning supplies.
When's the last time you went shopping and bought $450 worth of cleaning equipment? I think that there's other items there that are going to lead us to find out exactly what may have happened here. but there's a slew of red flags here that and law enforcement, although they haven't charged him with homicide, I anticipate that will happen.
We're also learning more from Anna's family. Her mother, who lives in Serbia, spoke with Fox News and Digital last night. Her mother said 1 week before the disappearance, Anna had begged her to come visit the next day. The mother said clearly there must have been some problems. Her mother also told us Anna called her at 1 a.m. January 1st, hours before she went missing. And her mother told us she now regrets not taking that call. Meanwhile, Brian Walshe is still in police custody tonight on $500,000 cash bond.
Okay. They want to watch let's see if there's anything interesting with this video clip here.
Fox News alert. Firefighters battled flames at the former
we know
home
about
of a
this,
missing Massachusetts woman. The mom of 3 was reported missing, and now police are asking for the public's help. Tim Quigley of the Cohasset Police Department, welcome to you, sir, and thank you for your service. What are your thoughts on this case as it unfolds?
At this point, it's a missing persons case, as you know, and we're asking for the public's help in trying to locate Anna Walshe.
And we have a quote from a friend of hers who says, honestly, I'm scared, really, really scared, she said. She's a loving and loyal wife and mother of 3 beautiful boys. I know in my heart that of her choice, she would not go a day without speaking to her husband and her kids. Chief, what do you make of that statement, and how does that impact the tenor of your search?
Well, every hour we're getting more concerned for her well-being, and at this point in the investigation, we have more questions than answers.
Have you been receiving tips? Have you been receiving help from the public at all?
We have. There's been an outpouring of support and helpful information from the public, and we're asking that continues.
And because this phase is still missing persons, tell us how that affects resources allocated or the priorities that your department is working on as they search for her.
Well, this is a top priority. It's one of our residents, obviously, and a mom of 3 young children, ages 6 down to age 2. We have detectives working around the clock, as well as we're receiving help from the Massachusetts State Police.
All right. So, is there any federal collaboration at all at this point, or it's between you and then other state police, or what additional resources are you depending on at this time?
We have been working with our federal partners, and at this point this morning, we have detectives from Cohasset Police along with troopers from Massachusetts State Police, and we're en route to Washington, D.C. to interview some people and chase down some leads in D.C. and work alongside Washington Metropolitan Police. She does have connections to the D.C. area.
And Chief, the fire raises so many questions. What do we know with that so far at all?
Troopers from the State Fire Marshal's office are investigating that blaze. Very strange circumstances. Again, I have more questions than answers at this point. We're looking into it, and we'll leave no stone unturned. Right.
Do we know when we can expect an answer, a determination of what exactly started that fire, what happened there? Is there a timeline?
It depends on the investigators. Yeah,
they said that fire is not related, though. The last thing that we saw. It's weird, though. It was one of the properties. All right, let's talk a little bit about these. This is like I think this is a new video.
Married. It's coming to light as police investigate Anna Walsh's suspicious disappearance. There's also a prayer vigil happening right now for her in Cohasset.
We're also on a weather alert. We'll get to those in just a moment, but we want to go first to Boston 25 News reporter Bob Ward, who is breaking this story tonight. And Bob, this is a stunning development.
Yeah, this is very disturbing. This report suggests that even before Anna was married, even before she was engaged, she was living under the threat of domestic violence. In this police report that I have exclusively obtained, Anna told police in Washington, D.C. that Brian threatened to kill her and her friends. On social media, missing Cohasset mom Anna Walshe portrayed a glamorous, happy life with her husband, Brian Walshe. But a police report I have exclusively obtained revealed deep trouble even before Anna and Brian were even engaged. According to this public incident report, Anna Knipp, her maiden name, told D.C. Metro Police that Brian Walshe, quote, made a statement over the telephone that he was going to kill her and her friends. She added Brian now lives in Boston, Massachusetts. Brian Walshe is not named in the report, but my sources indicate the suspect here is Brian Walshe. The report lists the potential offense as felony threats, but Anna never cooperated with D.C. Metro Police. Brian Walshe was never charged, and the case was closed.
How significant is this old accusation now?
It's very significant. It paints the history that we were looking for to see what was going on in that relationship.
Former Boston Police Chief Dan Linsky tells me the report may signal the start of an escalating, abusive relationship.
All relationships have tensions, right? People argue and fight and disagree. But when you've gone to authorities because you feel that your physical safety and the physical safety of your friends are in danger to make a formal report, that's a different standard.
Slightly more than a year after Anna told police Brian threatened to kill her, she announced her engagement on social media, and 4 months later, they were married. But on May 21st, 2018, Anna Walshe posted on Instagram this disturbing selfie of herself with a bruised eye. Anna captioned this picture, quote, mild concussion, bruised hip, and a cut, hashtag vulnerability. Anna explained it to a friend with 6 words, quote, freshly buffed marbled floors at work. Linsky tells me.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting, that reply. And I really wonder if that's what happened or not, you know.
In light of the D.C. Metro Police report, this picture can be seen in an entirely different light.
Oftentimes, domestic violence victims will cover for their abusers and come up with excuses for their injuries. It also could be consistent with that posting vulnerability, that she's in a vulnerable place in her relationship and is seeking some, reaching out to folks through that means.
Anna Walshe remains missing. No one has seen her since New Year's Day. Prosecutors say state police found blood and a broken bloody knife in the couple's Cohasset home. And sources tell us they've recovered evidence linked to Anna in a dumpster near Brian Walsh's mother's home on the North Shore of Boston. Dan Linsky believes the D.C. Metro Police report, where Anna Walshe said Brian threatened to kill her, may well have been the start of an escalating chain of domestic violence that erupted in Cohasset on New Year's Day. Brian Walshe is charged in this case of misleading.
So they updated the video. I was actually going to look at an older. Oh, where did I go? Right here. I was going to do an older video, but that's fine. Let me refresh it. Yeah, they updated it. Slightly more than a year after Anna told police Brian threatened to kill her, she announced her engagement on social media. And 4 months later, they were married. Damn. Can we get a better? What is this shit? There we go. But on May 21st, 2018, Anna Walshe posted on Instagram a selfie showing her bruised eye. And we got all that at the beginning. Okay. They're talking about it too. Brian Walshe is a calculated guy who lacks empathy. Art scam victim says. I wonder if is the victim in this video. Or is it just
Massachusetts woman who has been missing since New Year's Day. They allege Brian Walshe bought hundreds of dollars in cleaning supplies from Home Depot around the time of her disappearance. The New York Post cover calling it a shopping list for murder. Let's bring in former FBI Special Agent Bobby Chacon, and it is great to have you here. Listen to the Commonwealth Attorney, Lynn Beeland, yesterday. This had just happened yesterday. Watch.
He's on surveillance at that time, purchasing about $450 worth of cleaning supplies. That would include mops, bucket, tops, T-Vex, drop cloths, as well as various kinds of tape, even though he said he never left the house. Blood was found in the basement area, as well as a knife, which also contained some blood.
Just put up on the screen for everybody, call for number 2. This is evidence against Brian Walshe. So the police felt they had probable cause to bring him in. There was an arraignment yesterday. Does this case look pretty clear to you, Bobby?
Yeah, Dana, great to be with you. And I think it does look clear. The key to that Home Depot shopping trip is he lied about it. He said he never left the house, and then they find the Home Depot video. They find the receipts of the things he bought. And basically, they're calling them cleaning supplies, but to us in the criminal investigation business, that looks more like a body disposal kit. It's a tarp, it's tape. He had there's a knife with blood on it in that basement. They lodged. Now, he's only been charged with interfering or impeding a criminal investigation. He hasn't been charged with the murder yet. I anticipate those charges are coming. They have to get all their ducks in a row as the prosecutors before they lodge those charges. But they've done enough to hold him now, and certainly the evidence is mounting by the day against this husband. He failed to notify police in a timely manner when she was missing. It took days. The blood in the basement, the lying about his whereabouts. It doesn't look good for this defendant.
Nor for Anna Walshe, right? So the police say that they were,
unfortunately, yeah,
that because of his lies, it took them off the trail trying to find her, and then it could have delayed that. What's the next step then for investigators? Apparently they found a knife that has some blood on it. Any other clues that they're looking for at this moment?
Well, they're going through that crime scene, what we think is a crime scene in that basement, very carefully. They're analyzing that blood. Was it her blood? So that's the next step, is to get those lab results and to tie it all together in a picture. Yeah, it doesn't look good for this mother of three, unfortunately. And any missing person, if it's a legitimate missing person, those first few hours and days are crucial. Mm-hmm. And this man has did nothing but lie those first few days. So the next steps are to analyze that physical crime scene data and evidence, and if it matches up, then, of course, on the prosecution side, the next steps are going to be to lodge murder charges.
Yep, and we have Molly Lyon in Boston. She is following that story for us. Meanwhile, let's go back to Idaho for a moment, because while the police continue to put this case together against Bryan Kohberger for the quadruple murder.
Okay. So a lot of this stuff we've caught already, the whole scamming stuff. This guy's smiling. We all saw that already, but over here smiling. Crazy. Insane. Look at this guy. How you can even walk out with a smiling grin. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit of disposal sites. And so this is the one they're talking about in Peabody. Let's see, I-Team investigates.
Breaking tonight, I-Team sources say investigators have now discovered evidence at that Peabody trash facility.
I guess they say Peabody. I don't know, I say Peabody, but...
Thanks for joining us. I'm David Wade.
And I'm Lisa Hughes. The WBZ team is covering all angles of this rapidly developing story, including that exclusive interview with a family friend. But we begin with WBZ's Tiffany Chan and this breaking update from WBZ I-Team sources. Tiffany?
Lisa, David, investigators were at this trash facility off Route 1 in Peabody with hazmat suits and police canines searching through mountains of trash, and sources tell I-Team Cheryl Fiandaca that they did find evidence in connection to the disappearance of Anna Walshe, but what they found has yet to be revealed. Police are looking for any evidence linking them to the missing Cohasset mother. Sky Eye shows investigators in hazmat suits sifting through mountains of trash.
Brian, what do you want the public to know about this case?
Hours earlier, her husband Brian Walshe appeared to smile as he left the Cohasset Police Department in handcuffs. In court, prosecutors detailed the chilling evidence, telling police he last saw her on New Year's Day when she left for a work emergency in Washington, D.C. But investigators say there's no evidence Anna left.
Her phone pinged on the 1st and the 2nd, which is after the defendant had said she had left.
His defense attorney says Brian has been cooperative.
Mr. Walshe has given several interviews. We have consented to searches of his home.
And after impounding his car, I-Team sources reveal there's evidence that it was recently cleaned. Surveillance cameras also captured Brian at a Home Depot on January 2nd, wearing a black surgical mask, blue surgical gloves, and making a cash purchase.
He's on surveillance at that time, purchasing about $450 worth of cleaning supplies. That would include mops, bucket, tops, T-Vex, drop cloths, as well as various kinds of tape.
And that's when investigators hope to find buried in all this trash.
Yeah.
Any of those cleaning supplies, any evidence Brian may have thrown away. And the couple do have 3 children, 3 young.
So they pronounce it over there Peabody. So there was the Peabody location, and then there was another location, the Wareham incinerator. Let me see. This was on the 9th, and then this was on the 10th.
I-Team sources have learned about another search in the case of the missing woman from Cohasset. Good afternoon. I'm Paula Eben. I-Team sources today broke the news that investigators had found a hacksaw and a hatchet at a trash facility in Peabody. But now we've learned about another site they searched as well. WBZ's Jordan Jagalinzer is in Wareham.
Police also searched this CMAS facility here in West Wareham yesterday in hopes of finding more evidence in the case. WBZ learning that the waste-to-energy facility converts waste into electricity. In the process, doesn't take much time at all, roughly 1 day. So anything that did end up here, say, a week ago, has already gone through the incinerators, providing power to the area. Now, I did speak to the property manager here who said they did everything they could to assist state police yesterday in their investigation.
Damn. And so those locations, let's see here. This is the home. This is the first, I think the first area Peabody transfer station location. This is his mother lives around here. This is where he claims he went up here and he got lost, supposedly. And then this is the other location. So he kind of like went out of his way, I think, to try to like dispose of things in different places. So, I mean, it kind of makes it, I don't know, just to find her, you know, because she's still missing. You know, what did he do? He went out of his way to dispose of multiple things. And somehow they still found a bloody, damaged knife in the house and blood in the basement. And what did he do with the kids during all this time? You know? Maybe he was going to try to use his mother as an alibi, too. Oh, yeah, I was going to mom. I lost my way on the way over there. Get the super chats real quick. Okay, Gypsy, thank you so much. Says, Anna's way too beautiful for Brian. F. Brian's. Oh, Lord. Gypsy, thank you for the super chat. Says, ladies, avoid Brian's at all costs. Hey, they're taking L's. Maybe a surprise. Oh, that's an interesting thought. So, Gypsy, thank you for the super chat. Says, maybe a surprise was that she was pregnant. Oh, shoot. Damn, I didn't think about that. That's an interesting possibility. Lisa, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. That is an interesting possibility. Yeah. What was the surprise? Was it that? Did he lose it with that? This one, I don't think we need to. Oh, yeah, let's watch it because this kind of gives us a close up too of the area. Let's watch. This is News Nation.
Information about.
Oh, it's kind of loud. Blow up people's ears. And make sure you guys hit like, please. I'd appreciate that, por favor. Also, let me do the sponsor thing real quick. So, I am sponsored by DataSeal. The link is pinned in the comment section. I will, at the end of the stream, just transfer you to another video that if you want to wait till then, you can click the link there and check it out. But let me just play this. Your information is being sold by data brokers all the time. It's easy for anybody to look up your information using people search websites. They can find your home address, date of birth, email address, phone number. DataSeal.io is the data removal and monitoring service I trust to remove my information from the internet. Click the link below and use the code 5OFFALL to save 5% off your DataSeal subscription. Okay, so I'll transfer you after the stream when we're done. Yeah, I use the service myself. Try to remove as much information as you can online because these people, the super sleuths, and just people in general that want to hunt you down, or even in the chat, people use their names in the chat, which that's another tip that I told people yesterday. Please, if you have your full name as your account name, change that for YouTube. You don't need to, especially in my chat, some of the people are lit. You don't need to come in here with your full name.
possible evidence, including some chilling clues found in their basement. Our Evan Lambert joining us now from Cohasset, Massachusetts with more. He has the latest on the investigation and what else was revealed in court. Evan, this case is just crazy.
It is, Adrian. We are outside the home where Anna Walshe lives with her husband, Brian, and their 3 young sons. We're learning a lot about this investigation. Her husband, Brian Walshe, is in jail, charged with lying to investigators, and the mother remains missing this morning. She has not been seen since January 1st. We also know that investigators found blood in the basement of the couple's home behind me. Now, overnight, we know dozens of investigators were searching a trash transfer station in Peabody, Massachusetts. This is close to the apartment where Brian Walsh's mother lives, and it's key because prosecutors say Walshe told investigators he went to his mom's house last week but got lost, all while they say he hadn't reported her missing. We went to Brian's mother's apartment complex last night, noticed the dumpster was missing. Neighbors telling us that police had been there, and then we saw them at that nearby trash center, appearing to sift through remnants of trash with police dogs and investigators in those white protective suits. A neighbor telling me that the dumpster from the apartment complex had a compactor button that essentially pulverizes the trash. In court yesterday, prosecutors say from the protective suits, a neighbor telling me that the dumpster from the apartment complex had a compactor button that essentially pulverizes the trash. In court yesterday, prosecutors saying Walshe never reported his 39-year-old wife, Anna, missing, and he told them he last saw her on January 1st when she was headed to her job in Washington, D.C., but her cell phone, investigators say, pinged near the home after he told them she left the house on both the 1st and the 2nd. Prosecutors also revealing that Brian Walshe went to a Home Depot where surveillance video shows him buying hundreds of dollars of cleaning supplies, including mops, tarps, and buckets. Police found blood in the couple's basement and a damaged knife with blood on it. The Case podcast obtained a voicemail. They say that Brian left for a friend last Wednesday, the day Anna's work reported her missing. He appeared to be asking friends in help finding her. Take a listen.
Good afternoon, Brian Walshe. I hope all is going well. I was just reaching out to basically everybody I could. Anna hasn't been in touch for a few days. Do you know anyone that might have had contact with her? Calling everyone. So sorry to bother you. Sure, everything's fine.
And Walshe pleaded not guilty to lying to police. His attorney is saying he's been cooperating with the investigation. We checked this morning, and he is still in jail.
I tied up an FBI agent. If he steals this
The husband of a missing mother from
$1,000 from me before midnight, he keeps.
So somebody had sent me. I've heard about this for a couple of days now. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but they said Jared was arrested. I don't know if he's out already or not, or what's the deal. But this guy already got like a whole new team. Ride or die people. They don't care what kind of allegations or charges he has, so he has a whole new team with him. Law and Crime just reported that he was arrested. They did a video. So at the end, we'll listen to the video. Brian Walsh's house arrest bracelet not equipped with GPS tracking. That's what I mentioned earlier, which I was kind of like, okay, so what's the point of a arrest bracelet? What is it, just for like aesthetics? What the hell the point of that?
Over the last few hours, the I-Team was the first to tell you investigators visited a facility in where were misleading investigators. He was under house arrest on unrelated charges when his wife vanished. Now, investigators say he lied about locations he visited since her disappearance. Tonight, in our series, Question Everything, we're asking, how does house arrest work? WBC's Christina Hager went looking for answers.
Leading up to his wife's mysterious disappearance, Brian Walshe was supposed to be confined to their Cohasset home. Among about 6,000 people currently wearing electronic bracelets under what's called federal supervised release because he pleaded guilty to charges of selling fake art.
You can be on a bracelet and you go to church, you can go to your doctor, you can go to the
What's the point of that
grocery store. You know, there's all exemptions, you know, and sometimes you have to call in ahead of time.
But prosecutors say Walshe lied about going to Home Depot, where he allegedly spent $450 on cleaning cleaning supplies. Boston attorney Phil Tracy.
I don't think they had a fear that he was up to nefarious activities.
Should federal probation officers have known and been able to react sooner, though?
It wouldn't raise that much of a red flag.
Court papers outlining the conditions of Walshe's release say you are restricted to residence at all times except for activities pre-approved by the probation office. And the U.S. Attorney's Office tells WBZ Walshe's bracelet was not equipped with the GPS tracking that some convicts have. Instead, his used radio frequency that simply tracked when he left home, not where he went.
The hell's the point of that? I mean, I guess they can use that. I guess it's so like circumstantial. I guess it'll help them maybe when they use all the other pieces. What the hell is the point of that shit?
Let's say it's a release for an hour and a half. As long as he's back at the end of the hour and a half, they generally let it slip by.
Defense attorney J.W. Carney has many clients under federal house arrest.
Let's say, for example, a person passes a hardware store on the way back from dropping the kids off at school. And he goes in and buys a couple of things. Generally, that won't be something that will get the probation officer's attention.
Now, to be clear, in some cases, home confinement does mean truly staying at home at all times, but each case is different, and some allow for limited movement as long as there is permission from federal probation officers. Paula.
Good to know. Christina, thanks.
Wow.
Well, new on CBS News Boston, the Boston schools.
I thought that was interesting. This is kind of going over the whole timeline, which we've already gone over, but there is a little bit more visuals to the trash areas.
Reported missing days later, and at that point over the weekend, we can tell you investigators were searching the woods around the house, spent the better part of the weekend doing that, executing a search.
I mean, they do put a nice map here, though. So Rockland, this is the Home Depot where Brian Walshe allegedly visited for the $450 supply. This is the home in Cohasset. Brian Walsh's mother home. So she lives by Swamp Scott. And then the trash areas, the trash transfer station is right by the mother's place in Peabody. Whatever that is. Peabody. So.
Warrant of the house on this past Sunday, a week after she was last seen. And later that day on Sunday, the husband, Brian Walshe, was under arrest, charged with misleading investigators, as you mentioned. They did go through the house. We were out there at the Cohasset home Monday morning where investigators returned to the scene. Prosecutors later said in court Monday that there was blood found, as you mentioned, in the basement, a knife with the blood on it. And then as this was all unfolding in court yesterday, investigators were here at this facility in Peabody, this transfer facility, as you mentioned, just about an hour away from Cohasset. This is on the North Shore. Investigators going through, looking through the trash. We saw them out in hazmat gear, looking for hours through the trash in this area. And our investigative team learning this morning, investigators found trash bags with blood, a hatchet, rug, used cleaning supplies. All here at the facility. And this is all new information that we're learning here this morning about what was actually found. This as Brian Walshe was being held on.
So all this stuff was found at the Peabody area, the area that's by his mother's house.
$500,000 bail going back to that charge of misleading investigators.
So why are investigators searching this trash transfer station? And I guess more importantly, what led them there? What was discovered?
So this was a process of following Brian Walsh's movements there. They ended up, we understand, going through a dumpster at a facility, the apartment complex of Brian Walsh's mother's home, her apartment complex there. They brought the dumpster here, we understand, to this Peabody transfer station to go through it, is what we're learning.
So now let's talk about the husband. He was arraigned yesterday on charges of misleading investigators. He also has sort of this other background that has to do with art and fraud. What do we know about the charges that are pending, why he was charged with misleading investigators? I think it's a very interesting charge. What did he say to them that led to this?
We could kind of tie in the two parts of your question there. One with the Andy Warhol paintings, charged with selling 2 fake Andy Warhol paintings years ago, still awaiting sentencing in that case. But because of that, his movements were limited in the meantime at home. Did have to report, had windows where he was able to travel. And we can tell you that as far as the misleading investigators in this case, there were a couple different aspects that prosecutors pointed to yesterday. Starting for one, with the fact that prosecutors said that he told investigators that Anna left again first thing for D.C. the morning of January 1st. But then prosecutors said that her cell phone actually pinged back to that home not only that day, but the next as well. So they're using that information. They also referenced the blood in the basement, the knife found, and then surveillance footage. They mentioned that he went to the Home Depot on January 2nd, the day after, and they were going through that surveillance footage, talking about the $450 worth of cleaning supplies.
Okay. I was just sent a really interesting link too. Kayla sent me this, and let's check it out. Also, let me get some of the super chats. I think I missed. Sorry, Beautiful Disaster and Justin. So Justin, thank you for the super chat. Justin Davis may explain why he waited a few days to report her missing. He knew they destroy the trash within 48 to 72 hours. Yeah. Beautiful Disaster, thank you for the super chat. I wonder if she was just bidding time, knowing he was going to go to prison. Then plan on leaving him. This is tragic. I hope family helps with the kids. Yeah, CPS took custody, I guess, but hopefully they'll give him to the family. Leslie Hidalgo. Mel, do you have a P.O. box? I have some Alpha David merch for you. Yeah, I do. It's on my YouTube page in the About section. I also think I put it in the description. Let me double check. Maybe I haven't though. No, I need to put it in the description. Next time I'll do that. But if you go to my YouTube page in the About area, there's a P.O. box there. Gypsy, thanks for the super chat, says my cousin's murder trial starts on the 23rd. DM me your cousin's name again. I'm kind of curious to see what happens. I thought they never found him, right? I thought there was like blood evidence or something with that. I hope that whoever's accused of that gets prosecuted. And Jen P, thanks for the membership. Can you look up AWP's recent arrest? Yes. At the end of this stream, towards the end, I'll play the video from Law and Crime. I've been wanting and thinking of doing a video about that. I've just been kind of waiting to see what exactly is happening, because I don't know if it was just procedural because they didn't arrest him last time. They also, I saw SF Investigates Twitter was talking about, they removed the charge, actually, one of the R charges from it. And so I feel like we're going to actually probably need a whole dedicated stream to it, or maybe even just a video. I don't know. But at the end, we'll listen to at least what Law and Crime had to say. And then maybe we can do a live stream about it and just sit and talk about it for sure. But yeah, so we'll get to that. Let me do this article because this is interesting. Oh, we got to get to this. This is interesting too. And I just want to say too, D-Land, if you're out there listening, I don't know if you are, thank you so much for all the information you sent me with this case. I appreciate it. All the links. And just everybody too. There's a lot of people, some of the mods and stuff have been sending me information, but D-Land has been sending me a lot. So, exclusive, Brian Walsh's response to friends revealed. Handwritten prepared statement addressing missing wife Anna's disappearance and thanking loved ones for their concern is seen on a folded note atop couple's dining table. What? An astonishing note written by the husband of missing realtor Anna Walshe, apparently addressing the public after her disappearance, can be exclusively revealed by dailymail.com. What appears to be a prepared statement on a to-do list scribbled on a lined paper was found on the dining table at Anna and Brian Walsh's rented home in Cohasset, Massachusetts, where the 39-year-old mother was last seen in the early morning hours of January 1st. The folded note written in blue ink by Brian is titled Response to Friends. and seems to be his own scripted message to relate to concerned loved ones amid the growing speculating over his wife's disappearance. Walshe, who is now in custody after being charged for misleading cops in the investigation, writes, "I appreciate your concern. Right now, my focus is finding Anna and spending time with..." Oh, okay, when you get like a little glimpse. This is interesting. So is this guy like taking notes? Like, all right, this is how I need to respond to people. Like, he's so cold, maybe. So like, I don't know, whatever. Like, he has to like take notes on what he's gonna say to his friends. Call, cell phone. This is interesting. How'd they get this? How'd Daily Mail get this? Who got paid off? Right beneath the second note containing a list of numbered tasks, are partially visible, starting with the one TA believed to word talk or tax. What the hell? Now my focus finding Anna. Damn. Oh. Okay. And spending time with something. Wow, that's an interesting find. Hold on, let's go back. A general view of Walsh's kitchen and dining room at the Massachusetts home. Daily Mail can also reveal exclusive image of 2 passports on the same table neatly arranged near the note. Damn, he's getting ready to dip out, which was placed on the book titled The Obstacle. Elsewhere in the home, poignantly sits a baby's bottle with a small amount of milk still in it. I know I'm saying that wrong. I forgot to say that. Picture the family's sparsely adorned Christmas tree with only a few ornaments hanging on it. Oh. An ominous note that Anna Walshe wrote to her husband hours before she vanished. Wow, 2022, what a year, and yet we are still here and together. Let's make 2023 the best one yet. And yo, anybody that's on Discord, anybody that's always followed me, every time I talk about this New Year crap, what do I say? You know, it's always this 2023, let's make it or whatever year it is, and then it's like the worst year ever. But I know people are just trying to be positive and stuff, but like every time I see this all the time, I'm like, oh boy. We are the authors of our lives. Courage, love. I think this is perseverance. I think compassion and joy. Love, Anna. Damn, man, that's kind of sad though, isn't it? Somebody said fake. What do you think? He wrote it himself? Every time. Oh, New Year's Day is going to be the best year ever. I've seen it so many times on my Facebook friends. Well, I don't really pay attention to my Facebook friends anymore, but I used to see it all the time, and it's like the worst year ever. Compare the handwriting. This is really interesting. See what else they got. A picture of the family, the kids, 2, 4, and 6. And pictures obtained by Daily Mail show 3 bottles of AH. First Reserve whiskey, which sells for around $3,000 a bottle. Wow. Has anybody ever tried that? Damn, $3,000 a bottle, and they just got 3 sitting there. Oof. Hearst Reserve whiskey. I want to try something expensive. I can't see myself spending $3K though. Like that's got to be like the high life, bro. Beautiful disaster. Thank you for the super chat. Says Mel, congratulations. I noticed a huge increase of peeps in your lives, 3 to 5K. This is so well deserved. Thank you. Here's to continued success in 2023. Oh Lord, don't say that shit. Thank you. I appreciate it though. Thank you. By the way, we're almost at, let me see. We're like 80 almost a little bit less than 80 subscribers away from 174,000. So that'd be nice if we can get that. So make sure you subscribe, hit like on the stream. I'd appreciate it. The couple owns several properties together, including their home in Cohasset and a $1.3 million house in DC. Oh yeah, that was the house in DC. Yep, they had multiple properties. On Monday, cops said they had found blood on a damaged knife and in the basement of their home in Cohasset. This is the security footage showed Brian near a dumpster located on Paradise Road, where a Whole Foods market after Anna's disappearance, with Walsh telling authorities he stopped at the store while running errands for his mother. And that dumpster, let's see. We saw it earlier, but I'll play it again. There's no sound on this video, but see him inside. Looking all sus and shit. Boy, sus. I don't know if he actually made a purchase or did he just walk there to be like, I was here and doing something at the dumpster. 2 days before Brian Walsh reported his wife Anna missing, cameras capture him at a juice bar about a 20-minute drive from his and Anna's home. Nearly a week later, he was charged with misleading police. We saw this already. Did we see the whole thing? Legacy posted this earlier on Twitter. International Center in Newton offers help for Anna Walsh's children. They believe the children should stay together.
7 days since the mother of 3 was last seen.
I'm a realist. I'm sorry. I was an optimist. Now it looks like we have to take care of the children.
Natasha Skye, founder of Skye International Center based in Newton, says Anna's been a member of the business and social community for the past few years.
Beautiful, inside and out. Like the person that just you could come in and you're like, you just want to know Anna.
Skye says her organization is now pushing to keep the Walsh's 3 young boys together under the same roof. She says some members of the group and their families are willing to open their doors to them.
They went through enough of drama. They're only small children under 6 years old, so they really have to be together. At least they have what they have is right now each other, and they need a shred of normalcy.
As for the investigation, now more than a week since Anna Walsh was reported missing, and 11 days since the mother of 3 was lost.
Oh, I'm going to do that. Okay. Oh, and D-Land did send me that earlier. So we got the note there. D-Land. That's all they got. Okay. So, oh yeah, this is the prayer vigil. This was today. Prayer vigil for missing mother Anna Walsh is expected to get underway in Cohasset just a few minutes. A picture.
Massachusetts State Police recover surveillance video of Brian Walsh near a dumpster from the day of his wife's disappearance. All this comes as the search for Anna Walsh enters its 2nd week. Boston TV stations report Walsh was caught on surveillance video near the dumpster of a Swampscott liquor store on January 1st. That's more than an
That's right by his mother's house.
hour north of the Walsh family home in Cohasset, Massachusetts. The dumpster is near Whole Foods, where Walsh told investigators he visited the day his wife was last seen. All this comes as authorities reportedly recover blood, a hatchet, a hacksaw, a rug, and used cleaning supplies when an area trash facility is searched. Prior to this, authorities recovered blood and a bloody knife in the Walsh family basement. Investigators say Anna Walsh was last seen on February 8th. Those 3 children.
We got all that already. Oh, yes. Cohasset, Massachusetts has been rocked by the case of missing mother of 3, Anna Walshe. The town is coming together for a vigil at 4:30. I'll be live. Earlier, I spoke with a bagel shop employee who told me Anna came in regularly.
You see this all the time on the news, like from across the country, but it hits close to home when it's your own hometown where you grew up. You never think it's going to happen to your home. It's sad.
Bagel shop. One of the last people who saw Anna before she vanished described a festive atmosphere during the New Year's Eve get-together, during which nothing seemed to miss between her and her husband. We hugged and celebrated, and we toasted, just what you do over New Year's. Family friend Jem told WBZ TV. There was a lot of looking forward to the new year. There was no indication of anything other than celebrating the new year. Problems on hold. He said, Motley said he was stunned when Brian Walshe called the following day. I said, what's wrong? Is there something wrong? He said, yeah, Anna's missing. Mutlu told the news outlet, she was texting with friends. She was sitting next to me at the bar stool at their kitchen. There was absolutely no indication that any modicum of tragedy or of disappearance or anything else could have happened that night, he said. Mutlu, who met Anna through her husband, added, a part of me had this suspicion all along that there may have been foul play and that somehow just the story just wasn't adding up. He told WBZ TV that Anna, a real estate agent who has worked in Washington, D.C., had been staying in separate homes while their 3 young boys lived with Brian in Cohasset, Massachusetts. Okay. You know about the voicemail and all that. There's some pictures. The house. Okay. Let's see. So we go through everything here. This was the surveillance. We covered that. This him walking out smiling. Saw that already. The remainder of the statement goes below the fold and can't be made out from the photo, but the tone suggests he could be referring to their 3 young children. Right beneath it, a second note containing a list of numbered tasks is partially visible, starting with 1 TA, believed to be the word talk or tax. It goes on to list 2 Cal and 3 call tomorrow. The notes were evidently written by Walshe, 47, who was taken into custody and emerged smirking after his court appearance on Monday. Okay. We saw all this stuff here. On the countertop near the table is the box for a bottle of Lance & Noble Cuvée champagne, on which Anna wrote a haunting message to her husband. Is it haunting? On the side, she wrote, wow, 2022, what a year, and we're still here, and together, let's make 2023 the best one yet. We are the authors of our lives, courage, love, perseverance, compassion, and joy. Love, Anna. On the other side are the words, to the best. The final word of that sentence is undiscernible. At the bottom, he wrote 12/31/2022 and love, Brian. Ooh. Okay, Anna's friends are now rallying in an attempt to gain custody of the children until the case is resolved. A family friend, Natasha Skye, told Fox Boston that the 2 families are going through a legal process in an attempt to gain custody. I wonder if the father's family is trying to get custody. All right. So I think it's the last part here. Been on almost 2 hours. last part here, and then we'll listen to the Jared Lasik stuff, and I'll show you a TikTok video with some other stories. And so it starts here. It says, this is what I gathered from Deeds Records. This is from Laura Cranberry on Reddit. July 2018, Anna is listed as living at the 589 Essex Street, Unit 201 in Lynn, Massachusetts. On July 6, 2018, Anna gets a mortgage for $96,800. On July 6, 2018, Anna purchases 20 Hughes Court Unit 104 for $121,000. August 27, 2018, Anna gets another mortgage for $108,000. August 27, 2018, Anna purchases Tudor Street condo, Lynn, Massachusetts for $135,000. She got some really good prices out there. September 21st, 2018, Brian's father passes away. On September 24, 2018, Anna gets a mortgage for $408,000. Oh shoot, what the hell did I do? Okay, I'm good. On September 24, 2018, Anna purchases 6 Edwidge Road, Marblehead, and list BW as living with her, Brian Walshe, with her there, but not the co-owner of the house, for $510,000. On October 2018, Brian is charged with a federal criminal case. November 2018, November 5th, Anna sold 589 Essex Street, Unit 201, Lynn, Massachusetts for $320,000. On November 19, 2019, she gets another mortgage for 6 Edwidge Road for $405,000. On December 6, 2019, released the mortgage on 6 Edwidge Road that was signed on September 24, 2018, thus paid off $408,000. On January 24, 2020, revolving credit mortgage for $105,000 against 6 Edwidge. Anna is without a job between April 4th or April 2020 and August 2020, so she didn't work for a couple of months. Brian does not work either. She's also pregnant with their 3rd son at this time. On November 6, 2020, sold Edwidge Road for $840,000. On November 9th, 2020, purchased 725 Jerusalem Road for $800,000. On November 24, 2020, discharge of revolving. Where is that at? Oh, discharge of revolving. It got cut off there. There we go. Revolving mortgage for Edwidge Road. December 30th, 2020, release of mortgage from November 19, 2019. Some more info regarding November 3rd through the 5th, 2016. Brian Walshe sells 2 fake Andy Wall paintings. We know about that for $80,000. August 2016, their first son, Thomas, is born. She is most likely on maternity leave. September 21st, 2016, they leave on a month-long tour of Europe, Serbia, Slovenia, Italy, Slovenia, Serbia. With the baby, they must be paying for the trip as she is on her leave. I believe this is where the fake Warhols were painted. On October 27, 2016, Anna is back to work while communicating with victim 1, the buyer of Andy Warhol paintings, about the sale. Ooh. Okay, and that starts over. Just kind of an interesting history, I guess. A bunch of properties sold and bought and sold. Okay, so let's do this. So since we're at the end, I think we've covered everything. Let's listen to this whole. A couple things, real quick. Couple things. So this one was emailed to me. We'll just briefly look at this, and just another, like, man, if you're in a crazy situation, toxic situation, whatever it is, man, you might want to try to get out. Man arrested, suspected of murder after woman's body found dismembered in Orchid. A man is now behind bars and faces murder charge following the suspected death of his girlfriend in Fresno County. This is California. Oh, Lord. According to Fresno County Sheriff's Office, Cameron Wright, 22, of Fresno, was arrested on Monday after deputies were called to the 8300 block of South Hayes, which is near Raisin City. Deputies say they were called for domestic violence, but later gathered evidence which suspected Wright of murdering his 24-year-old girlfriend, Samantha Sharp. Fresno County investigators said Wednesday that they believe Sharp's body was found roughly 2 miles away from the home in an orchard. Her body, officials say, was found dismembered, and coroner's office has yet to officially confirm her identity. I don't know what takes these people to like the next extreme. I mean, it's extreme to kill somebody, but then the next extreme of like dismembering them. How do you do that? Dig sent me this earlier. And so we know about this family, but there's other families. This TikTok person, crime_cast, made this video.
Probably heard that last Wednesday, the Heights were murdered by the father of their family in Enoch City, Utah. But not many people know that on Saturday, the Haggers were murdered in nearly the exact same situation. Or that just hours before that, the Creighton family also lost their lives at the hands of the father of their family. This is 3 families gone in 3 days. Again, the first of these cases was last Wednesday when Utah police responded to a welfare check on the Height family. Inside, they found the bodies of Tasha, her mother, husband, and 5 children, all deceased from gunshot wounds. She had just filed for divorce 2 weeks before. Cindy Klaus was also planning to leave her husband, and around noon on Saturday, police responded to a welfare check at their home in Allegan, Michigan. Inside, they found Cindy, her husband, and their 10 and 13-year-old daughters deceased from gunshot wounds. Wow. Investigators believe that Cindy was packing her bags when Rogers started shooting. Just hours before that, authorities in High Point, North.
And that's the other thing too. They always say the most dangerous time is when you're going to leave, and that's when I was going through my situation. It was always when I was going to leave that like some crazy shit happened. And you hear that all the time. So I don't know. I guess if you're going to leave, you have to have a plan. Don't do it alone. I don't know. Talk to some people. There's professionals. They have domestic violence hotlines. I wouldn't even announce it, honestly. I wouldn't even announce it because it seems like the moment the crazy people get a whiff of that you're leaving, that's when stuff happens, you know?
Investigators believe that Cindy was packing her bags when Rogers started shooting. Just hours before that, authorities in High Point, North Carolina were alerted to 2 individuals running down this neighborhood street, screaming that someone was trying to kill them. Inside the residence of the Creighton family, they found the bodies of Anaya Creighton, her husband, and 3 of their children, again deceased from gunshot wounds. It's reported that the father, Robert, suffered from mental health issues and that the 2 survivors are the eldest son and his girlfriend.
Wow.
So again, this is 3 families gone in 3 days under painfully similar circumstances. The men responsible for these crimes are Michael Height, Roger Hager, and Robert Creighton. They are all deceased and in the past week have taken the lives of 10 children.
Jeez. Wow. Incredible. Let's listen to the Jared Lysick thing too. I mean, it's salute to Law and Crime for actually posting this stuff. Adventures with Purpose. He has R charges against a child, and you know he over here been posting like normal. We got the team here. Look at these guys over here. We got the team. We're starting our search for families and all this stuff. This guy's going back to business, I guess. You know. And he posted here 2 days ago. I don't know if it was him or not, but he made a post 2 days ago, 6 days ago. Live stream. We'll go back to business. Let's listen to Law and Crime. See, I had the video somewhere. Okay, there we go. Let's see. What's going on with Jared?
You're not going to want to miss today's episode as we are in Branson, Missouri, where back in 2017, a duck boat goes on land and then it goes on water, and 17 people ended up passing away.
That was Jared Lysick, the founder of the volunteer dive group Adventures with Purpose. Recently, Lysick was booked into a county jail in Utah, accused of raping a 9-year-old girl in 1992 when he was 16. The child was a relative at the time. Adventures with Purpose is the group that garnered a lot of attention last year after members of the group found the missing vehicle of California teenager Kylie Rodney after police searched a body of water at a California campground looking for the SUV and found nothing. So they got a lot of credit for finding her vehicle. Sadly, her body inside, she was deceased, but they were able to bring her family a little bit of peace, and her death was determined to be an accident. Joining me to discuss the arrest of Jared Lysick and the allegations is Katie Bogenschutz. She is a former sex crimes prosecutor in Florida, also has defended people accused of sex crimes. Katie, welcome back to Sidebar.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Your reaction to this arrest and the fact that this is somebody who runs a nonprofit, founded it, that is aimed at helping people, missing people and their families, accused of something that sounds pretty awful involving a then, in 1992, 9-year-old relative when he was 16.
Yeah, it is. So in Florida, these kinds of crimes are considered, quote, capital offenses, and colloquially we'll still refer to them as capital sexual battery. And the reason for that is that they're punishable by life or death. And in Florida, life is life. You come out in a box. Utah, I believe, has a 15-year minimum mandatory up to life on this kind of offense. But these are incredibly serious. And in fact, prior to, I think it was 2005, but don't hold me to that, it was a possibility to go for the death penalty in some states on child sexual abuse.
We should.
Louisiana had that overturned at the U.S. Supreme Court. So this is something that is not going to be washed off quickly and not dealt with quickly. And it also sounds like he made quite a few admissions, even if there isn't any physical evidence. It sounded like what he said was, he didn't make up all the elements of the offense. I am so sorry that I did this to you on this and this day and time, and there was penetration and blah, blah, blah. But statements that are so highly inconsistent with being innocent that I can't imagine that he's not held responsible for them, at least.
That's interesting to hear that. I've been kind of curious. I think his attorney tried to file to get it dismissed. I know he has a lot of supporters, ride or die, that, he has his day in court and stuff, but some of these people, they'd support Child R too, just to stay by their hero and stuff. The people on that channel, these people will support anything. So I'm not surprised that, they're strong still. They got their following, and he's gonna have to fight or defend himself in court or whatever. And just goes to show they got a whole new team out there, smiling and shit. Just, you know what I'm saying? All right, let me continue. Wait, where'd I put it? Did I lose it? Okay, here.
Based on the contents that were reported by the media.
And in these statements that have been attributed to him, he apologized, as you mentioned, also blamed what happened on what he called fringe Mormonism, that they were, I guess, raised in, or what he claims they were kind of raised in this fringe Mormon environment, and said that he was the victim of molestation too.
Right. And not every offender, because you have to imagine you get people that are lawyers together and only prosecute these crimes. We did so much research on these people and talked to so many shrinks on these people. And it's not all of them. Not all of them were victims themselves, but a higher percentage than you would expect to see were you pulling randomly from the population were victims, at either as children or later on in life. And a lot of, I don't know what sect of Mormonism he is referring to, but I do know that there's some people that have been federally prosecuted.
Yeah, I wonder, the Mormons. You got to be careful when talking about the Mormons too, because they get really offended. I remember one time, I've told the story a couple of times, when I was covering a story regarding Mormons. I think a few had contacted me, and one Mormon had joined the Discord. I don't have anything against them, but you hear all these kind of stories all the time with this sometimes religious stuff.
That are fringe LDS for marrying off 12-year-olds and 10-year-olds and things like that. So I have to imagine that might be one of the factors here. But at the same time,
those Adventures with Purpose supporters, they die hard, man. They don't care what you got. Stand right by your side. You can do anything. Damn.
I mean, a 9-year-old, this is not something that I imagine that a jury is going to forgive. And in fact, what I would do if I were the prosecutor is I would pick a jury full of Mormons because they will want to distance themselves from
No,
this.
I don't think so. I don't know what they want. I feel like they'd support him too. Because isn't it the belief they have is like they go into a room and you do something and like whatever you've done, you're washed away of your sins. I forgot what they call it. You do something. Is it repentance or I don't know what it is. And it's like you're reset and everything's gone. You don't want to put a jury full of Mormons in there. What?
And the population may be, in whatever county this is going on in. There may be.
That may be what's available, but I would pick them, so long as they're mainstream, because they will want to distance themselves from this kind of thing immediately.
A 9-year-old obviously cannot consent. That is a child. A 16-year-old is still a child, but in some states is able to consent. So, I mean, this is a 7-year age difference. This isn't like I don't want to get into anything about this, but I mean, this is a 7-year age difference. So a 16-year-old dealing with a 9-year-old, between right and wrong.
Yeah, and so there's some states that have laws that are in Florida. They're called Romeo and Juliet laws. Like if you're within 4 years of each other's age and there's no sign that anything was forced, we're not going to turn a 17-year-old into a sex offender for having a relationship with a 15-year-old.
Yeah, they do have Romeo and Juliet. They call it something else in other states. It's the same concept though. If you're like 17, there's a couple of years difference or something.
But this is so far, and the fact is that I doubt that you could make this argument with a 9-year-old anyway, but she's a family member. You know how old she is.
Well, the AWP people try to co-sign it and say, whatever. They'll try to make all kinds of things. She's 9 and blah, blah, blah. They kind of make all excuses, those AWP supporters.
And it brings back, I had a case where I had an 18-year-old meet an 11-year-old at a club.
Wow. And
he was told how old she was afterward and vomited, like out of nowhere. Right. And I was like, hard to fake that.
There is, and I have heard of stories, there is times where girls will lie. I've heard a lot of situations like that too. So that is a thing. Obviously, this is not the case with their family, but
But she's a family member. You know exactly how old she is. Now that's obviously a major outlier in cases, and that's why it's one that I remember. But you know exactly how old she is, and frankly, what I said to one of my defendants was, if you know what this did to you, how could you ever wish it on somebody that you allege to care about?
So Jared Lysek apparently said, according to some court documents, that he shouldn't be held responsible. A 46-year-old man shouldn't be held responsible for the actions of a 16-year-old for a child, he's saying. His attorney says he maintains his innocence. I mean, this is an organization that I guess, helps missing people. They go into bodies of water trying to help find missing people, and they do some good work. And I think there's some trust there. So it's kind of disturbing to hear somebody running a nonprofit such as this one billed as helping people accused of something like this. And at this point, he's accused. And there have been people who've left because they're so startled by this. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my concern is probably the same concern that other people who have done what I've done for a living have. There's a lot of volunteers that are involved with these groups, and you don't necessarily need to be over 18 to volunteer. So, and I know that some of the diving that he did is considered technical diving, stuff that in order to recover some of these things, you have to go incredibly deep or in incredibly murky water and stuff like that. And I also wonder if he's been teaching diving classes too. The access that doing something like this out in the wilderness, where it could be even somewhat enjoyable to volunteer your time to do search and rescue. I mean, I'm concerned that there's more than just this one victim, as I would be concerned in most cases where a child of this age is victimized. Usually it's not one and done. And I hate to put it that way.
Yeah, but it's correct. I mean, what you're saying is usually true. So we don't know, and we certainly don't want to indict him.
Somebody said AWP is, yeah, it's not a nonprofit. Right. I thought you said it is. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Yeah. A lot of people have that misconception. It's for profit. Yeah.
For anything else. But there could be more to this.
Oh, she did say nonprofit, I think, too, right? Or something like that. I thought yeah, it is for profit.
No. So Katie, defending this could be really difficult. This is an old case, but the statements attributed to him certainly don't help him. The statements he made.
No. And sometimes when somebody apologizes, so I'm married. Sometimes if, and most men will understand this. You come home, your wife's mad at you. You don't quite know why, but you just start apologizing because.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Don't need to, but I do it sometimes. Probably for no reason.
That seems like the right thing to do. And that's, sometimes we'll get that kind of defense where somebody's just like, I'm sorry, how can I make this up to you? And there's nothing particularly specific in there. The statements that were reported in this case lead me to believe that we are not going to have a defense of and this is what it's called, felicitous apology.
I've never heard of that before. Felicitous apology. Okay.
I don't know what I'm apologizing for, but I just want you to stop crying and be quiet, which most men can usually agree with, or or remember a situation where you just start apologizing and you don't even know what you're apologizing for. But in this case, it's just so specific. I can't.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those emails were so I don't know. I thought they were pretty damning.
I can't imagine that would be a defense in this kind of case. I would imagine that his age would be a mitigating factor, his age at the time, obviously. But, how many 16-year-olds kill somebody with a car and, still have to do the time? How many 16-year-olds shoot someone and still have to do the time and are charged as adults? So, adult crime, adult time. There's no such thing as that. Even when I was in misdemeanor and traffic court, we would see kids that were underage in traffic court, and there's no juvenile traffic court. You're driving a car, you get charged as an adult. You get adult actions, adult consequences. So, I mean, it might be a mitigating factor, but I think that there's going to be some comeuppance here.
Well, we will continue to follow it and wait to see how the case unfolds. Katie Bogenschutz, thanks as always for joining us.
That was Katie. That was an attorney from Florida, I believe, and she was talking about the Jared Lysick arrest. Adventures with Purpose. So I believe they dropped one of the. I'll have to look into this later. I said I think we can do a whole stream on this probably, or just a short video. Adventures with Purpose founder Jared Lysick arrested in Utah for child R after assaulting female relative aged 9 twice in family home, according to the Daily Mail. So I've covered this before, but and I don't even know that it really needs a full live stream. We could probably just do a video. But this guy has a whole new team. I don't know if he's out too. I've been wondering, is he still in jail? Did he get out? Did he bail out already? Was booked in St. Pete County Jail in Utah after being initially charged in November over a 3-decade-old crime. It is claimed the girl was a relative aged between 9 and 10 at the time, while he was 7 years her senior. A court hearing for the case was scheduled but canceled after YouTubers attempted to live stream the proceedings, which is against state law. I don't know if he's out or not or what happened. I would think he's out. It's unclear if Lysick remains in police custody, and there's no bail amount listed alongside his booking record. That's what I was wondering. Like, is he still there or is he gone? Oh, Lord. Let's see. Where Jared at? Jared. LASIK. Oh, Lord. Imagine having that kind of charge. Lord. Well, I mean, he has a strong support group. You know, those people are ride or die there. The Adventures with Purpose supporters. He'll have his day in court. Ride or die. And I guess that's it for now. We're here for 2 hours. I'm going to be back later, I think. Yeah, we should do around 11:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll do the Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace is being canceled on Twitter. She canceled. And she fired back, too. I'll see if I can... I'm going to take a little break now, get something to eat. But I will be back for Nancy Grace, like 11:15 p.m. Eastern, when I have another notification. Please hit the like button. Check out DataSeal, the sponsor. I'm going to move you guys over there. Just click the link at the top. Do a free scan. I think you just have to put your name and email address, and you'll see what websites your information pops up on. You can pay monthly or do a year subscription. I have a subscription myself. And it basically takes your information from these data brokers and it removes them. The reason you have to keep doing either like a monthly or yearly thing, I've had it for a couple of years. Not DataSeal. I've had a different service, but now I signed up with DataSeal. I've had it for a couple of years because just to protect myself, because these people are crazy. It helps out to remove information. And when you get it removed from these websites, they still put it up again, like a month later or a couple of weeks later or whatever. And so just to secure your information, especially if you're online, I'd remove it. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much.